It was another busy week at the Capitol as the state legislative session continues. Governor Sanders is trying again with an idea halted before by a federal judge, making some people on Medicaid prove they are working or looking for a job. I attended the governor's press conference this week to learn more about the push.
But as long as we pay for people to sit on the sidelines, we will never reach our full potential.
Arkansas is once again pursuing a Medicaid work requirement program. Inside the Capitol Tuesday, Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders announced a new waiver called the Pathway to Prosperity. She says its plan targets able-bodied working-age adults 19 through 64 years old and requires them to work, study, volunteer, or care for children to retain benefits.
220,000 able-bodied working-age adults in Arkansas receive free health care, courtesy of the Arkansas taxpayer. It cost us more than $2.2 billion each year and growing. Of those recipients, estimates show that nearly 90,000 have no job.
We've seen this before in 2018 during President Trump's first term. 18,000 Medicaid recipients lost their coverage, and the requirement was later blocked by federal courts. But Governor Sanders says she is confident that this revised version will work.
This work requirement waiver request is different than what we've submitted in the past. And three, and I think this is probably the biggest piece, is that we are not permanently removing someone for the roles, but temporarily suspending so that they have the ability to get in compliance and get back on the program if they show that they're in compliance.
This amendment is solidly in line with other work requirements in SNAP and TANF, which continue to provide opportunities for people to find pathways to success.
The governor also faced pushback this week over her plans to build a new prison in Franklin County. Republican State Senator Brian King introduced multiple bills, all aimed at stopping construction of the proposed 3,000-bed facility.
To outline, one is the bill that addresses the 8 counties and the possible funding the prisons. It takes the $600 million out of surplus funds and funds that's already allocated, and that would be the first bill.
His proposals focus on reducing jail backlogs, boosting crime prevention, and redirecting medical marijuana and casino revenue. And Governor Sanders recently addressed King's efforts in an interview with our sister station.
If his bill passes the House and the Senate, would you sign it?
No, because there's very few county officials that tell you that is a workable, viable solution. In fact, almost overwhelmingly, there has been pushback against that idea.
The bills filed Thursday now head to the Senate Judiciary Committee, though no meetings is scheduled this week. State leaders will also soon consider a bill to ban cell phones in classrooms across the state. Senate Bill 142 will create the Bill-to-Bill No Cell Act. Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders says it will ban both smartphones and smartwatches from arrival to dismissal with a few exceptions. It has nearly 30 co-sponsors and will start in the House Education Committee possibly next week. If passed, it would move a pilot program this year to every district starting in August. One of the biggest back and forth acts at the Capitol was over a push to end affirmative action here in Arkansas. Here's a look at the passionate debate that took place ahead of the vote.
But it's the time in history to change that, because it's time for us to treat everybody equally.
Arkansas lawmakers are once again faced with a decision on affirmative action.
A vote of 24 yay, 7 nay, 2 not voting, and 2 present.
Senate Bill 3 passed in the full Senate on Wednesday. The legislation aims at prohibiting discrimination on the basis of race, sex, color, ethnicity, or national origin. But that strict definition means ending long-lasting programs designed to help minorities. That's why lawmakers like Democratic Senator Clark Tucker spoke against it.
As Senator Murdoch said, this is not mandating any outcomes. This is really about opportunity, and that's it. Now, all of these programs were carefully crafted over a period of decades, very thoughtfully. These programs were created surgically to where they could have the most impact. This bill is not surgical. This bill, to Senator Clark's point, is a blunt instrument.
Longstanding Democratic Senator Stephanie Flowers also pushed back on the bill, using her experience to fight it.
But I've been feeling attacked most of my life. And it's because of my color. Sometimes it's because of my gender.
But Sullivan says the federal government has already made strides to change affirmative action on the national level, arguing that Arkansas should be a trailblazer and follow as example.
Our colleges, University of Arkansas and Arkansas State, have been doing this for several years. They've been treating everybody equally. That you don't hear of all the lawsuits and problems and things going on. You just don't hear of it. Why don't you hear of it? It works. Treating everybody equally works.
House aiming for a potentially different outcome after failing to be passed in 2023. The House did, however, pass the Frank Broyles Publicity Rights Protection Act, also known as the House Bill 1071. It expands the law passed back in 2016 and is named for the late Razorbacks football coach. It protects an athlete's right to control the commercial use of their name, image, signature, and likeness. But in a scenario that likely seemed inconceivable, even 9 years ago, the bill's sponsor says it needs artificial intelligence protections.
Having the ability to take an image or series of images and sounds and generate a lifelike portrayal of an individual wasn't something that we were readily able to do in 2016. Now with emerging trends, it's fairly easy to accomplish that.
The bill saw overwhelming support in the House with a vote of 95-1 and now seeks approval from the Senate.
We're off to a little bit of a rough start. You might have noticed in the press, but I think we're going to get that all worked out.
Embattled Chief Justice Karen Baker getting a chance to address the rocky start to her term leading the state Supreme Court this week. She spoke to lawmakers during a meeting of the House Judiciary Committee on Thursday. It's customary for the Chief Justice to address the committee, and Baker started by simply introducing herself. But she then addressed what one lawmaker called the elephant in the room, high-profile disagreements with her colleagues over who runs the state's judicial branch.
I am unwilling to accept that I don't have the same authority to hire the administrative office of the court's executive director, which is the area of contention. And if we can't work that out, we'll probably be litigating that issue.
The Chief Justice started her term in a dispute with her colleagues on the High Court over firing staff and career personnel. 5 justices overruled her plans to fire the chief administrator and several others. Those disagreements spilled into the public during a contentious meeting Baker ordered live streamed last week.